The night was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes every thought louder, every memory sharper, and every feeling heavier. I was locking up the small grocery store where I worked evenings when I saw her, Emily, sitting on the curb under the flickering streetlight. Something about the way her shoulders curled in, like she was trying to disappear, stopped me. We hadn't spoken in years, but a part of me recognized that look. It was the look of someone who had been holding on for too long. When she lifted her head, her eyes were red, not just from crying, but from exhaustion. The kind that settles into the bones. And then she said words that felt like they came from nowhere and everywhere all at once. "I want a baby. Can you help?" For a moment, I forgot how to breathe. My heart punched against my ribs. Me? A father? Just like that? Her voice trembled like she didn't want help. She needed it. And something inside me, something quiet and stubborn, whispered, "Don't walk away. Not this time." Before we jump into the full story, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the Soulful Stories, hit the like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps us bring more real emotional stories that touch the heart and remind us of the power of kindness. I asked her to stand, to walk with me to my truck so we could talk. She moved slowly, like every step hurt. When she sat inside, she wrapped her arms around herself, battling the cold and something deeper. "Emily," I said gently, "what's going on?" She looked out the window, her breath fogging the glass. "I'm alone," she whispered, "more alone than I've ever been, and I don't want to go through life that way." Her voice cracked, the kind that carries years of unsaid things. She explained that she had been in a long relationship that ended abruptly, leaving her without family, support, or direction. She told me she always wanted to be a mother, someone who could give love the way she never received. "But why me?" I asked honestly. She finally looked at me, really looked, and her eyes softened. "Because you were always kind, you never judged me, you never treated me like I was trouble." I thought, maybe you'd understand. Kindness. That simple word had carried more weight than I ever realized. I didn't know my small gestures all those years ago, holding the door, offering my lunch when she forgot hers, listening when she needed a friend, had stayed with her. I didn't know kindness clung to people long after the moment passed. I leaned back in my seat, fighting the swirl of panic and responsibility. Becoming a father wasn't something I'd expected. I felt unprepared, unsteady. But I could also see the desperation behind her request. It wasn't impulsive. It was survival. "Emily," I said slowly, "a baby isn't something you just jump into. It changes everything." "I know," she whispered, "but I don't have anyone else who cares enough to talk to me about it." That sentence hit me like a punch. Not the request, not the idea of a child, but the truth behind it. She felt like she had no one. No support, no family, no love. And suddenly, this wasn't about babies or fatherhood. It was about kindness, human kindness, the kind that holds someone up when they have nothing left. I reached out and gently held her hand. "Emily, I care. I always have. But let's take this one step at a time. You don't have to face any of this alone." She broke, not in a loud way, not in a dramatic collapse. She simply leaned into me, rested her head on my shoulder, and cried like she hadn't allowed herself to cry in years. And in that moment, I realized something. Sometimes kindness isn't about solving a problem. Sometimes it's just about staying, even when you don't know what to say. Over the next few weeks, we talked. We met for coffee, for walks, for long conversations about life and fears and dreams. Slowly, she opened up about her childhood, about her heartbreak, about all the times life made her feel disposable. And with every word, I felt this protective instinct grow inside me. One evening, while sitting on a bench overlooking the frozen lake, she asked quietly, "Did I scare you the night I asked?" "Yes," I admitted honestly, "but not for the reason you think." She glanced at me, confused. "I wasn't scared of being a father," I said. "I was scared because you were hurting, and I didn't know how to make it better." Her eyes softened as she whispered, "You being here, that already makes it better." That night, something shifted, not in a romantic way, not yet, but in a human way, a way that reminded me how powerful compassion could be. Then, months later, on a warm spring evening, when the air smelled like blooming lilacs, she surprised me. We were sitting in her small apartment, laughing about something silly, when she suddenly said, "I'm ready." "Ready for what?" "For life again," she said softly. "Because of you." Her voice trembled as she continued, "I still want a baby someday, but now I want a partner too. Not someone to rescue me, someone to walk with me, and, if it's still too big for you, I'll understand." I swallowed, my heart hammering. I reached for her hands. "Emily, I'm not scared anymore. Not of being a father, not of being with you. I'm scared of losing you." Her breath caught in her throat. "So, you're saying yes?" I nodded. "To you, to whatever future we build, to kindness, to family." Her smile trembled as tears filled her eyes. Not tears of fear this time. Tears of hope. Our relationship grew slow, steady, and genuine. It wasn't perfect. We were two imperfect people trying to create something honest. We talked about everything: finances, jobs, fears, future plans. We took parenting classes just to prepare, not because we were rushing, but because we wanted to be ready someday. And through it all, kindness became the glue holding us together. Acts of love didn't always look grand. Sometimes they looked like cooking dinner on a rough day, or holding hands during a doctor's appointment, or surprising each other with notes on the fridge. Then one morning, almost a year after that night under the streetlight, she handed me a small white stick. Her hands were shaking, her eyes were wide. "Are you?" I whispered. She nodded, crying and laughing at the same time. "We're having a baby." I froze, then I laughed, then I cried, then I pulled her into my arms and whispered, "I'm going to be a father. Not out of obligation, not out of fear, not out of loneliness, out of love, out of kindness." Because one moment of compassion had changed two lives, and now it was about to change a third. As months passed, we prepared, painting the nursery, choosing tiny clothes, reading books on parenting. Every time I felt overwhelmed, she would hold my face and remind me, "We're doing this together." The night our daughter was born, I held her in my arms, her tiny fingers curling around mine, and I realized something powerful. Kindness doesn't just change moments. It creates generations. If I had walked away that night, if I had ignored her pain, if I had pretended not to care, this child wouldn't be here. This family wouldn't exist. I looked at Emily, exhausted but glowing, and whispered, "Thank you for choosing me." She smiled weakly. "Thank you for staying." And just like that, everything made sense. Sometimes life brings people together in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes a single act of kindness becomes the seed of a family, a future, a new beginning. In the end, kindness isn't always big or loud. Sometimes it's just showing up. Sometimes it's saying, "You don't have to go through this alone." Sometimes it's helping someone believe in life again. And sometimes, kindness becomes love. And love becomes a family. So if you're watching this right now, remember this. Your kindness matters more than you think. One small moment, one conversation, one choice to care can change someone's world forever. It might even change yours. So go out today and spread kindness, because you never know the miracle it might grow.